This is OwlUp, where learning happens in minutes, not hours. For a deeper journey, explore all our courses at owlup.co. Now, let's dive in. Chapter 1 of Time Blocking Mastery: Own Your Calendar. Introduction to Time Blocking. Transform your schedule. In this chapter, you'll learn: define time blocking and understand its purpose. Let's dive in. A typical office worker switches screens so often that their attention span shrinks to well under a minute. You sit down to do one important task, and 3 hours vanish into emails, chats, and pings. How would your day change if your calendar made those decisions for you? Most people treat their calendar as a graveyard for meetings and deadlines, a passive record of other people's priorities. Time blocking flips that. Your calendar becomes a planning tool, not a diary of what already happened. Instead of fitting in important work around interruptions, you deliberately give your key tasks a reserved seat in your day before anything else shows up. This isn't just about being organized. Cognitive psychology suggests that when you pre-assign work to specific blocks, you offload dozens of tiny choices. When should I start? What should I do next? That frees up mental bandwidth for actual thinking. You're not deciding your day in real time, you're simply following a script you wrote when you were calm, clear, and strategic. Think of this as moving from defensive scheduling, reacting to requests, to offensive scheduling, where your calendar reflects the outcomes you want, not just the noise you receive. Most people try to prioritize by keeping a to-do list and then hoping the day cooperates. But lists don't protect time, they just describe wishes. That's why important work keeps getting postponed by urgent but trivial requests. Time blocking closes this gap between intention and reality by forcing a trade-off. If you give 90 minutes to deep work, that time can't also belong to email, meetings, or errands. Your calendar becomes a visible map of these choices. Over a week, you start to see patterns, where your energy peaks, where it crashes, and which tasks always seem to hijack your best hours. Most people first meet time blocking as a rigid template. Mornings for deep work, afternoons for meetings, evenings for admin. That's a little like buying a suit off the rack and wondering why it doesn't quite fit. The real power shows up when you start tailoring blocks to your own energy, role, and constraints instead of copying someone else's layout. Start with energy, not tasks. Look back at a few recent days and ask, when did hard thinking feel easiest? When did it feel impossible? Many knowledge workers discover a pattern, a sharp window in the first 2 to 3 hours after starting, a post-lunch dip, then a smaller second wind. Rather than stuffing your most demanding work into whatever gaps are left, you assign those prime hours to your highest impact projects and push reactive work, email, approvals, quick calls, into the lower energy slots. Next, match block size to task type. Deep conceptual work tends to need longer stretches. Coordination work tolerates shorter slices. This is where techniques diverge. Elon Musk famously runs on 5-minute units because his work is almost pure decision-making and status review, not writing a report or designing a system. A software engineer, writer, or student typically benefits more from 60 to 120-minute focus blocks because each context shift burns extra ramp-up time. Then there's variability. Some days explode. Incidents, urgent client calls, surprise requests from leadership. Instead of pretending every day will be calm, you deliberately design shock absorbers into your calendar. Buffer blocks near recurring chaos, for example after weekly leadership meetings, overflow blocks at the end of the day for whatever slipped, and a small number of clearly labeled break glass blocks you can sacrifice when something truly urgent lands. You can also separate maker and manager modes. If your role mixes individual production and coordination, cluster meetings into a few corridors, say late mornings and mid-afternoons, so you still preserve at least 1 or 2 clean focus blocks. Companies that standardize meeting light hours, like no meeting Wednesdays or protected mornings, make this easier for everyone, not just the most senior people. Finally, time blocking gets more interesting when you connect it to outcomes, not just activities. Instead of email 30 minutes, you reserve inbox to 0, respond to 10 key threads. Instead of study, you block chapter 4 review, 20 practice problems. Now each block has a finish line, making it easier to notice when your ambition for the day silently expands beyond your actual capacity. A senior engineer I coached used to start every morning catching up on Slack. By 11 a.m., their best thinking time was gone. We tried a twist. 2 labeled blocks, design, onboarding flow from 9 to 10:30, then comms, Slack plus email from 10:30 to 11. Same tools, same job, but now the design work had a guaranteed seat before the chatter. Within 2 weeks, they'd shipped a feature that had been stuck for months. You can apply the same idea even if your day feels chaotic. A customer success manager who lives in their inbox created 3 recurring blocks: proactive outreach, firefighting, and follow-ups. The tickets were the same, the order changed. Proactive work went first, firefighting was grouped instead of constant, and follow-ups capped the day so nothing lingered in limbo. Use labels that sound like outcomes, not activities. Draft Q2 roadmap, refine hiring scorecard, QA payment flow. You're not just reserving time, you're reserving progress on something that matters. A quiet shift is coming. Instead of obsessing over hours online, teams will likely care about blocks completed. AI tools may soon suggest layouts the way map apps suggest routes, offering options like fastest, scenic, or avoid tolls, but for deep work, collaboration, or recovery. As wearables detect strain or focus spikes, your plan could adjust mid-flight, nudging tough work into tailwinds and lighter tasks into headwinds, like trimming sails to match shifting winds. Treat this as an ongoing experiment, not a permanent blueprint. As you test, you'll notice certain blocks feel like prime real estate and others like back alleys. Keep a simple log of what actually happens in each slot. Over a few weeks, patterns emerge like footprints in fresh snow, showing where your future blocks will deliver the biggest return. To go deeper, here are 3 next steps. 1. Install a time-blocking friendly calendar like Google Calendar and pair it with the free Sunsama trial to practice turning your to-do list into actual calendar blocks for just tomorrow's workday. 2. Grab a copy of Cal Newport's book, Deep Work, and read Chapter 4, Rule Number 1, Work Deeply, with your calendar open. Then immediately schedule one 90-minute deep work block this week for your most cognitively demanding task. 3. Download the Time Blocking Planner PDF from Michael Hyatt & Company, or use their Full Focus Planner if you have it, and use it tonight to map a single ideal day template, including morning routine, admin blocks, focus blocks, and shutdown ritual, and then mirror that template in your digital calendar for the next 3 weekdays. This was OwlUp, your daily step forward. To keep learning with structured courses and more insights, go to owlup.co. Until tomorrow!